What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Fat Thor Gaming. I am your boy Fat Thor, back again to bring you another Marvel Strike Force video. Today we're going to be finishing up the brand new day tower. We have floors 31 through 40. Keep in mind a couple things I want to point out. Number one, for me right now, it's about 1:30 a.m. I'm now doing this intro video. I've already completed the floors. I have not unlocked my rewards yet. I'm going to do that on the video here before I sign off. There are a few different floors where you're going to have to be careful of a little bit of RNG. And they throw Dormammu at you a couple times. On top of that, the last fight is not your typical fight. Instead of being a team, it's just two individuals. It's kind of like a Echoes event. Echoes of Century, Echoes of Abyss. It's kind of like one of those events. You just have Scorpion Breaker and Oath. Actually, it's not that hard. It's actually very controllable. But yeah, I'll claim the rewards here on the stream, and we'll get into the walkthrough of the different floors and everything, and who you need to bring along to complete this tower. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, like I said, I've already cleared all these. I still have the rewards. I have not claimed those yet. I'll do that after we walk through. A few things before I even get started. Again, as I said, this last floor is it's like two mini bosses. It's just Scorpion Breaker and Oath. And one thing also you want to be weary of is after floor 39, after you play this floor, where you'll have an Odin and some Conclave, but after floor 39, everything resets. All your cooldowns and everything resets. So all your teams will be available again. All your specials. Everything starts from a blank slate. But then when you get to 40, you're only able to use Amazing Avengers or Exalted. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to worry about leaving charges or anything like that. Everything will reset before you face those two mini bosses. Alright, so for 31, I kind of used, basically I used the same format from last week. I just looked at, I went from 31 through 40. Again, usually I use in Marvel Church's suggestions, and then I play them out and show you guys how to run through them. Sometimes I change them up. A lot of times I'll have to at least change a member or two. My ISOs may be different. Sometimes I don't know if his teams are just way higher in power than mine or what. I have no idea. Sometimes the teams that he wants to use just does not work for me at all. So it's a little bit of a mixture. Some of the Marvel Church, some of my own creation. Again, so just kind of keep that in mind. But for this one, is definitely not a free to play through this one. I did use Mephisto. I'm looking through. I did use Sentry. I used Professor X. I used Odin. So, again, if you're running on difficulty 4, then by all means you should have some of those legendary characters. Battle World with Century and alright, so again, like I said, I use Professor X and Odin. I use them in floor 31 along with Phoenix Force. For this one, it's pretty straightforward. You have to worry about Mephisto. This one's pretty easy. Uh, Not much of an explanation needed on that one. You'll be able to walk through. Again, you guys always, that's why I make the videos as well. There's no commentary on them, but it shows you the walkthrough and what to do if I don't explain thoroughly enough in the intros when I go through them. So, that's why the videos are there. Like I said, feel free, you watch, per section that you need. I break each one down per floor. That way, if there's only one that you need help on, you don't have to use my guide for the whole thing. So just if you watch the videos, just please, leave a like. Just let me know if there's anything in there that you would have done different, or if you use a different team, anything like that. Again, so for 32, I used Brimstone, and then I left out Doctor Strange and brought in Sentry. Again, this one was fairly easy. Some, Sinister Six characters, Infestation. Really, you have to worry about being able to take care of Big Time Spider-Man before he is able to take his turn, and you want to try to get some buffs on him, and then Black Widow as well. Once she gets speed up on, then it can get crazy for them. So Brimstone and Sentry again with no Strange on 32. For 33, you start with your Spider-Verse. So with having to use Sinister Six and 34, and then you have to use, I use my Symbiote 6 team in 38. So when it says Spider-Verse, I normally went with my Hive. So that's what I use on this one. I could have went with Superior 6, because I ended up on the next one for 34, it's Sinister 6. So initially I tried my full Superior 6 team here, Electro, Vulture, the whole deal, and it just did not work. So I started piecing people out. I did end up using Marvel Church's one for this one. I never would have thought about bringing Mysterio in. That he really was a game changer. So again, that was for 34. So I did end up using a couple of the Superior 6 members. You have 2 of those and 2 Sinister 6. So for 33, I did end up going with Hive. I used Hive and Swarm because I did not use Venom. I saved Venom for Symbiote 6, obviously. Shadow King here, as well as Apocalypse. You want to kind of focus on Nightcrawler to begin with. I believe he spawns next to Quasar. But you want to focus on Nightcrawler first, and then try to keep away from Thanos. Don't let him drop below that 50%, so he doesn't activate his passive, because that at any moment, any one of these teams can actively destroy you. So just keep that in mind. You're always trying to keep the next person in line from being able to go or being able to passive, or so you have to be careful of different things. Like I said, you want to try to kind of aim for that right side if Thanos spawns on the left, obviously, and then vice versa. Try to keep away from Thanos. Do not let him hit that 50%. But other than that, you focus on Shadow King, Nightcrawler first, and then Shadow King, and then you can Apocalypse. That one is not too bad, as long as you follow that kind of structure, and you don't attack Thanos too much, and then you don't let Apocalypse take both of his turns, or his initial turn, and then get his passive. So again, for 34, where it says Sinister 6, switch over. Did it not? Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Excuse me. 33 was Hive. I finished that one. 34 was Sinister 6, Mysterio. Like I said on that one, Mysterio really was kind of the game changer on that. So, Sinister 6, I ended up going with Mysterio, Vulture, and then 2 Superior 6 members with Superior Spider-Man, and then Hobgoblin, and then I used Green Goblin Classic. That way you're able to control the speed bar. Again, you just want to pay attention to who's coming up in the bar at the bottom. If you don't have that turned on, you really should. It really does help. You can find that in your settings. But you just keep checking your speed bar. You know, you see who's coming up, and you just make sure that you blind or stun, or you make sure that they have enough debuffs on them that by the time they get to go, they can't do any damage. So, all right. So for 35, here I used Exalted, and then instead of using regular Wolverine, I brought in Old Man Logan. Because of his constant revive, and then his speed, his energy refill, how he gets back to his ultimate so quickly. That really was kind of a game changer as well. In this one, you get the first 6, the Hellfire, and then Mr. Sinister and Quicksilver. You get those first, and then you end up, when you get to having one character left, you get Phoenix Force. Again, be wary of getting rid of Omega Red before you get rid of Phoenix, because when you do get rid of her, if Omega Red is already off the board, she will spawn a new one. She spawns as soon as she revives, so keep that in mind. This one, it's not too bad. All in all, none of this last week was too tough. There was one that ended up taking me a very long time, and then I ended up using a completely different team than what was suggested, and it was literally 1,000 times easier for me. So that was just me. So yeah, 35 Exalted with Old Man Logan instead of regular Wolverine. 36, I used my core Fantastic Four members, Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, and Franklin, and then I used Quasar, and then Marvel Church suggested Shadow King. And I tried this with Shadow King. I got down to the last wave. Scroll is such a pain in the ass, especially when Dormammu's on the board. You want to try to make sure that Dormammu is gone before the second wave drops. That way they don't also get revive, which sucks. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. Your first wave is actually the 3 core Fantastic Four members, as well as Skrull and Doom. And then when you get down to your last one, which is usually probably going to be Mr. Fantastic or either Skrull, you don't want it to be Skrull, because whoever you do have left, Dormammu drops in on the second wave with Galactic Council, basically, minus Ultimus. So with Dormammu on the board, whoever you have left over from the first wave will also get that passive revive. So you want to be careful with that. You do not want that to be Skrull. So you do kind of want to focus as much as you can on Skrull, but you want to also be weary of Doom. He's another one that when he hits 50%, if he's not blocked or if he doesn't have enough debuffs on him to take him all the way out, then once he hits 50%, he gains 100% speed bar. He drops 2 or 3 minions, and then he ends up jumping ahead in the time bar like 4 times. And then somebody else on his team ends up jumping ahead and going like twice or 3 times. So you want to be weary of Doom. Try not to drop him below 50%, just like Thanos end game in that other node. Unless, again, like I said, unless you have ability block on him, or you have enough bleeds, or exhausted, or whatever would have you. You have enough debuffs where he'll either be gone or he won't be able to take his turn, or whatever. So you also want to be careful with Blastar. You can survive, or at least I could, with the strength of my team. You can survive one of his ultimates. The second one will just about completely take you out. Okay, so do not let him use his ultimate the second time. With Dormammu, again, you have another node later where Dormammu comes back in again. Dormammu is such a pain in the behind. If I didn't use Mephisto on the one with Fantastic Four, then wait, I'm sorry. Yeah. Originally, because Marvel Church wanted to use Shadow King in this one, like I said, it took forever for me to get down to. I kept getting to the second wave, and then Blastar kept just taking me out over and over again with that second ultimate. Even if I had a full squad, that second one, even if he only has one bomb burst, he's not supposed to be that powerful. I don't know what it is until he gains 3 or 4 or more. But that second ultimate, even with only one bomb burst, even with a full squad, he would completely decimate my team. So I ended up eventually switching Shadow King out because of Dormammu. I myself did not look ahead, so I maybe could have tried to complete it with Shadow King and saved Mephisto for the other one with Dormammu, but I ended up beating that one anyway. So I ended up bringing Mephisto in because he negates that revive. So after that, you really don't have to worry about it. This node becomes super easy. So again, if you follow the Marvel Church guide, if you get to this one, sub out Mephisto for Shadow King. It makes this node very easy. Like I said, it negates all of the revives. So after you kill everybody, they're gone. For 37, I ended up. Again, with this one, Marvel Church wanted Shadow Conclave, and instead of Malekith, Silver Surfer Breaker. Excuse me. Again, I tried this one several times with Shadow Conclave. This one also had Dormammu. After a while, I started getting aggravated, thinking that maybe I wasted that Mephisto on the last node with that Dormammu, thinking I needed him for this one, because you get that retcon team spawning in at the end, and this is War Rules, so that Jeff, Squirrel, they all, that retcon team is very powerful. So I got handed to me a couple times using the Conclave team with Breaker. So I ended up switching and I used Omen, but instead of Cull, I did bring back High Evolutionary because of his special and his ultimate refills so quickly, and they're so powerful. All of his attacks are area of effect. They hit all enemies, so he's a great addition to that team. So yeah, instead of Cole, like I said, I brought in High Evolutionary from Shadow Conclave, and then used the rest of my Omen. After that, this node was fairly easy. It does take, I suppose, a little bit of RNG. It's not too bad. But again, once I switched out and I went to the Omen team with Evolutionary, this one became much easier. So once you get to the second wave, the first wave really isn't that bad. Even with the revives, you want to focus on Old Man Logan first. Try to get him out as quick as you can, and then Dormammu. Once you get rid of Dormammu, you want to make sure that you stun Dakin, so that he does not get to use his ultimate or either his special. I'm not sure which one it is, but it does a lot of damage and puts a lot of debuffs on 3, I believe. I don't think it's a full all enemy. I think it's area of effect. So depending on where he hits. But then once you get into that second level, you want to make sure that you try and save Breaker's ultimate. Once that comes around, try not to use that. And then by the time you get back around, Evolutionary should have at least his special or his ultimate bat ready again. So when they first pop up, they're gonna have, I believe it's evade. So if as soon as they spawn in and you have Breaker, don't waste his ult, because they all will dodge it. Then it doesn't hit anybody and it wastes. So you have several members that all do all enemy attacks. So once you get back around, the speed bar actually ends up turning in your favor with Omen. So again, this one really wasn't that bad once I switched over. Like I said, just focus on Jeff. When that second wave drops, focus on Jeff and then Squirrel Girl. After that, it's not too bad. Like I said, for 38, I saved Venom for this one because I used my full Symbiote 6. It wasn't that bad. It didn't click over. There we go. This one really wasn't that bad. You have to deal with a Sentry again. And then you have Winter Guard around it. You can literally dance all around Sentry and avoid him. You want to avoid him as long as possible. I did manage to get to the second wave, so that was pretty good. But with your first wave with Winter Guard, you can literally dance all around him. You'll get a little bit of damage on him to begin with when Quicksilver takes his turn, but then after that you can position all of your attacks on the outsides where they don't hit Sentry in the middle, as long as that's the way that he spawns in. If he spawns in differently for you, maybe you might want to restart. Just saying, throwing that out there, because like I said, with him placed in the middle, it makes it tremendously easy to just work all around him and stay away from him and not use him. Second wave, you have Thunderbolts. You really only have to worry about Ghost. You want to get rid of Victoria Hand as quickly as possible, as soon as they drop in, and then Ghost. Really make sure that you stun or either ability block Taskmaster. By that point, even if he does get off his ultimate and get the blinds on everybody, Riot usually debuffs per every other ally's turn. Riot usually debuffs everybody, so even if Taskmaster does get his ultimate off and get blind, then you will probably cleanse anyway. So again, with Symbiote 6, this one's fairly easy. 39. 39 is Amazing Avengers. This one's raid abilities activated. You know, they're made. So Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Avengers. On this one, a full Amazing Avengers team. Even though you have Odin, and then you have some of your Shadow Conclave at the end. Is that actually no? That's not a full Shadow Conclave. You have Sylvie in the beginning. So yeah, on this one, you're using Amazing Avengers. You want to first focus on Odin. You want to use Spider-Man's ult and stun Odin, and then you want to continue your focus on Odin, and then after Odin, you want to shift your focus on Sylvie. You can pretty much use all your abilities, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah. If on this one there is a little bit of RNG, you actually do not want to go first in this level. If your Spider-Man goes first instead of their team's Odin, you want to just jump out real quick and restart. You do want their Odin to go first, because if not, then if you use Spider-Man's ult and you hit Odin with stun, then he goes next and he immediately cleanses it and it does nothing. So just make sure that that their Odin gets to go first. If he does not go first, then you want to jump back out and restart. So then once you go in, he goes, you use Spider-Man's ultimate on Odin, and then you stun him. You focus on Sylvie, try to get her down, and then that's your main two is Odin and Sylvie. You just keep focusing between them until you get enough down for that second wave to drop. Again, when Shadow Conclave drops in, you do not want Odin or Sylvie to be on the board. Obviously, if Sylvie drops in, that's a full Shadow Conclave team, and they get nasty. If Odin drops in, it's pretty much the same thing. They don't get quite as many buffs as they do with Sylvie, but they still get Odin and all his little, every single attack he gets to go and use his passive. So yeah, when that second wave drops in, you want to make sure that Odin and Sylvie are the first two that you get rid of. Odin first, especially, and then if you can't get Sylvie out second, you definitely want to make sure you get rid of her before that second wave with Shadow Conclave drops in. Okay. And then keep in mind with Amazing Avengers, after this node, after 39, everything resets. So in order for you to go to 40 and you use the two mini bosses, after you finish 39, like I said, everything will reset and you'll get all your cooldowns back, all your abilities will reset. So you will face the mini bosses with two fresh teams. You can use either one. If you have a full Amazing Avengers, it might be better to use them. I used Exalted. It really was not challenging that much for me, to be honest. I used Exalted because Scorpion drops the clones. You have Oath and you have Scorpion. Oath does not drop any clones, but Scorpion does. Every time either him or Oath takes a turn, I believe he will drop a clone, but that clone has like 10% health, 10% attack power, everything of what he has. For Exalted, that's basically, that's a minion, so you want to basic that, and that'll give you, I think it's 15 or either 20%, 25% speed bar for everybody on minions death. So again, you want to hit those minions whenever they pop up. Use your basics on the minions. Don't waste your specials on them. And then when there's no minions, you want to focus on Oath first. If Breaker does get to take a couple turns, you may lose one or two of your players. Again, if you use Amazing Avengers, I don't know. Again, that one, it may make it a lot easier. I know. I knew that he used the clones, so that's why I used Exalted. I know that they get the speed up, so I thought maybe that might try to kind of put me ahead. So again, it wasn't that hard for me with Exalted at all, really. But again, it may be different with Amazing Avengers. So if you have all 5 of those, I do have a full Amazing Avengers team. I thought Exalted would do better. So yeah, that'll get you through. Like I said, you want to try and focus on Oath first. Just keep doing all your specials, your ultimates. Just keep pounding away on Oath and get her down every time Scorpion Breaker drops a clone. You want to use a basic and just take them out. Or if they're close enough to Breaker or Oath, when the clones, when they drop in, if they're close enough to Breaker or Oath for you to use a special that has like area of effect, as long as it is strong enough to kill that clone, because like I said, it needs to be like a one-hit kind of situation. You one hit and kill the minions or the clones or whatever, then you get that speed bump with Exalted. So full focus on Oath. Every time one of the clones drop in, you want to focus on those, get your speed ups, and then once Oath is gone, then you'll have Breaker. Once you get Breaker to probably about 50%, 40%, you can pretty much put it on auto. Exalted can run this. It made it really, really easy, to be honest. Again, so I mean, all in all, it was a decent tower. One thing I do hate about these towers and these events is now that we have the control room for a while now, they'll start these events in the control room a day or two before these events drop. So these levels unlocked on Wednesday for me, and instead of being a week, I think I only have like 5 days before the tower's over. So my last week didn't start at the beginning like it should have, or like it did with everybody else. So that's one thing about these towers, and these echoes, the Sentry events and null events and things like that. Excuse me. So yeah, that's your brand new day tower, difficulty 4. That is all 40 floors. All in all, again, it wasn't a bad tower. I think either week 2 or week 3 was probably the most difficult. Week 2 for me was probably the most aggravating because I ended up restarting almost to the end so that I could go back and I needed to restart because I think I used Odin or I used Professor X way earlier than I needed to, or when I shouldn't have, and I needed to save them, so I had to go back and restart. So yeah, week 2 was a little aggravating for me because I ended up getting stuck, and then week 3 was just a little difficult. But all in all, not a bad tower. I'm glad that we're getting all the rewards and getting the shards. Again, I've already got him at, I think, like 5-star. Yeah, I already have him I have him at 6-star now. 6 red. I don't have any diamonds, but I'll get diamonds here. Again, on difficulty 4, you unlock all 16,000, so you unlock all of the milestones. So we will claim that's 170, so that puts me at 300. That gives me 7 red. There's my 7 red there, my 1 diamond and 2 diamond for Kingo, and then a bunch of red stars, red gear orbs, excuse me. So let's go Duplicate. Alright, so there's Kingo. We're going to rank him to 7, push him to 2 diamond. And here we go, 2.55 million. Yep, so there you go, guys. That is the Spider-Man brand new day tower. Full Kingo 7 red, 2 diamond unlock. Difficulty 4, all 40 floors. Hope this if this helps one person, great. You know, then I've done my job. Hope you enjoyed the videos. I hope something helped. Again, if you have any comments, if you just want to leave, if you used a different team than what I used, or if something that I did, if there was something that I missed, somebody different that I could have used to make one of these floors a little easier for me, you know, feel free to leave me any of those kind of comments. I'd love to interact with anybody. I say this on all these videos, so again, if you guys would rather me have the commentary in the videos while I'm playing, that's no problem. Again, just drop a comment, let me know that you guys would rather have the commentary. That's all good. I'm completely cool with that. Just let me know. All right, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope it helps. Until the next one. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. I'll be back as soon as the next tower or the next big event drops in. I'm in Battle World right now, so I may do my next Maestro run. My last one was about 3.4, 3.6, something like that. I've updated a few of my teams for it now, so I think I may be able to do a little bit better. So yeah, we'll look at. I may do a Maestro run and record that one. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss anything, and I really appreciate all the love and appreciate you guys. Peace.